Mario Kart 8, the best Mario Kart. Alright, I'll save the hot takes for the actual tier list. But if it's not the best, it's gotta be second best, right? Surely. What a quality Mario Kart this was. It was so nice they released it twice. So let's go ahead and put all these tracks in a tier list. And by popular demand, which I think was basically just 2 people, I've decided to do 2 tier lists. One for the racetracks, and one for the soundtrack. I'm gonna be honest, when it comes to the soundtrack department, I'll give you a little spoiler now, I don't think I'm gonna use this tier at all. Well, let's get it started with Mario Kart Stadium. You never really start with your best track, but I do think Mario Kart Stadium really sets the tone for what this game can do. I think the aesthetic of just like playing in this grand stadium, buildings in the background, you know, it's like, it feels like it's right in the middle of a city center, the crowd is roaring, everyone is ready. This is the grand first impression of Mario Kart 8, and I think it really sticks the landing in both the racetrack and the music. So the racetrack starts off with something that we're all pretty much familiar with, the classic drift inwards for speed and drift outwards for speed pads. We've seen this in the other Luigi circuits of old. Get straight into the anti-grav to introduce the latest mechanic. You've got this item just to the side over there to entice you to be like, hey, you can cut the track as well, you know? Don't have to stick by the bounds. It reintroduces gliding right back into the beginning, but it's still nice that they have a couple of decent shortcuts to give people a good impression as to what Mario Kart is at its core. Whether this is your first time playing a Mario Kart or the 8th time, I think it does such a good job that it slides right into B tier. Now we've got the music, which matches exactly how I feel about the racetrack. Got a lovely orchestra, all working together, the brass sounding good, the electric guitar carrying it in the background, the drums going crazy. It really feels like you've arrived, you know? Guitar man. And it just loops so wonderfully. Oh my god, I love this. I love this. I think a high B. I think it's going to stay at a high B. It's a foot tapper for sure, and does an excellent job at setting the stage. Next we have Water Park. Whenever I'm playing Mario Kart Online and I see this track, it's always one that I tend to skip. I do really like how the anti-grav interacts with the water. I do have to give it like it feels like you're kind of driving into the water at a weird angle. I think it's an alright stage. As much as I love it visually, then again, I can say the same for every track, really. The art direction in this game is amazing. But I just don't think it does anything crazy special or unique, so I'm just going to put it in C, and I think that's really it, to be honest. The music wasn't something I thought much of myself, but when you listen to it in isolation, it just sounds so jaunty, so alive. This really feels like resort music, you know, like you're at a beach or you're like at a resort, or dare I say, it feels like you're at a water park. The steel drum, you can't have a beach episode without a steel drum. You'd be forgiven if you completely slept on the music in this track. I certainly did before I listened to it right here. It is fantastic. It is utterly fantastic. It's just pure jubilation to the ears. It really is. It's a shame that I only just realized it right now. Next we have Sweet Sweet Canyon. So you know when you first played the stage and it was doing the pan camera thing like this? You thought the same thing, right? That fountain there. I do like the fact that the piranha plants over there, if you've seen them, they kind of like blend in color-wise to the backgrounds or like the colors that the stage is trying to go for. They're not your standard red piranha plant. They kind of match the colors of the stage or the theming. I really like that. It's those little small touches that I really like about this game. But as for the track, it has the curse of being a Mushroom Cup track. It's nothing special, unfortunately. I think I'm going to put it in C. I'd definitely rate it higher than Water Park, but I'm never going crazy if we get Sweet Sweet Canyon. Just have a listen. It's the tambourine and the clapping throughout the track that really just like push it to the next level for me. Just have a listen. It's such an earworm. It's the fact that the claps aren't 100% on beat that really just like get me, you know? Like they really stand out. They really drive the track. I'm just gonna end up listening to that on loop all day now. Thanks very much. It's on loop. It's on goddamn loop. I kind of expected the Mushroom Cup track so far to remain in kind of the C level, but the music has just won me over so far. But will that streak be ended? Let's find out with Thwomp Ruins. And now we get the first one where I'm just kind of like, there's nothing really about this track that entices me. The other Mushroom Cup tracks either have like presentation or the music, but I don't think this one has either. I think, you know, the Ruins aesthetic they're going for, it definitely looks like Ruins, but it just doesn't do anything for me personally. Also, this fucking shortcut over here, this little goddamn ramp was the bane of my existence when I first started playing this game. The amount of times like I tried to be cool and like drift into it up the ramp and then do a trick only to fail, it's unbelievable. That ramp has cost me so many games, but that is not factoring into my placement. The track in and of itself is just there. If I was to give it points for something, I do like it when tracks do this thing with the glider, when you're flying forward with the glider and you can trick off a ramp just about but still maintain your glide. I like it when tracks do that. It's a nice little touch, just like this person does here. You see, like that. I like it when they do that. But is that enough to save the track? Definitely not. It feels a bit harsh to put it in D, but at the same time, that's how I feel about it. So that's where it's gonna go. As for the music though, let's listen to the music. I was hoping the music would win me over. I'm sad to report that it has not. I like this part coming up here. Sounds nice. Does it really carry the fact that the first half of the track is kind of mid? I'm just going to put this strong feelings. Probably going to end up being a low C as well once we get to more tracks. Next up is Mahckrio Circuit. Really nice of Peach to allow her castle to be like a centerpiece in a weird anti-gravity mess. As for the track itself, it's just a Mario Circuit, isn't it? Is he driving a shoe? Is that a car? I don't think I've unlocked that yet. It does a really good job of showcasing just how weird and wacky the anti-gravity can get. It's like, especially when you look at the backgrounds, look at the car, you're upside down on the castle. It looks really weird, doesn't it? I like that. And the track certainly does a good job of showcasing, like, to beginner players what they can expect from a Mario Kart track. Like, I think if you were to just drive normal and you haven't learned how to drift yet, you'd probably be punished for this. It just doesn't really do much for me. Oh, yeah, I'm gonna put it in C. Yeah, I think that's fair. It's alright. What about the music, though? Music, what is that melody? So it's always the saxophone, isn't it? Anytime there's a track in any game that's just kind of like, yeah, this is alright. The guy on the sax just comes in as like, okay, guys, I got this. Is the sax guy enough to save it though? Probably not, to be honest. It's gonna stay at C. So C tier all around for the track and the soundtrack. What is next, though? That's the question. It is Toad Harbour. Oh, Toad Harbour. Oh, Dios mío, Toad Harbour. Is there someone that looks like this? And I'm sure they've based this on somewhere in real life. I want to visit this place. This track does a very, very good job of like introducing the idea of alternate paths to a player, and it does this consistently throughout. Within the first turn, you're made with a choice. You got the ramp, and get an item a bit earlier than you would if you were to take the normal path, or do you just continue taking on the normal path? The speed boost perfectly aligning you, so you can take the second alternate path, which is the ramp up ahead. So if you take the top path, you can't drift as inwards as you would if you took the lower path, but with the lower path, you have to contend with the pillars that are holding up the upper path. So it's a bit of a risk there, but generally, if you're good enough at the game, you're taking the bottom path and inward drifting. This one, I don't even know if I think the top path is just slightly faster. Opens you up to being a bit more predictable. I know there's been many an instance in which I've seen someone driving up there and I chuck a green shell in their direction and I hit them because I just know they're going to drive the same way. Whereas the bottom path is a bit more open. You're more likely to dodge things. So I think you have my favorite choice of the whole thing. So like this is essentially 3 paths really. So you can choose to go up the sides over here to like take a longer but safer route. Generally more fun as well. You get to go fast. I like going speed. And then you got 2 choices here. Do you go outside the tram line or inside the tram line? Inside the tram line being faster, but you risk hitting the tram and tumbling over and taking a big speed penalty. You have to really hit that spot. It's not like pinpoint perfect, but it's pinpoint enough to really test durability. And this person, of course, does it flawlessly. But yeah, you can go over here, and I think there's a speed pad over there on the left, and then or you can just go straight ahead. And of course, just for the fun of it as well, I know you've done it. But just over to the right here, where the tram is going, you can also drive along there. It offers no benefit. And I think it's, in fact, a bit slower, but you can do it, so why wouldn't you? I really like the way this track is designed. It has a consistent theme, and it sticks. It's not the most compelling theme. It's not as compelling as Toad Factory's Risk Reward, but it is a very compelling theme nonetheless. And I think I'm going to slap it in high A tier. As for the music, though, what is that melody? God, that guitar just sounds so lovely, doesn't it? It just sounds so good. My toxic trait is thinking that I could play this. Then it picks up a bit here. Just an absolute... It's like Water Park, but it has that, like, really good feel-good factor about it. I think it has to go in A as well. I think it's the best of the lot so far, in high A tier along with the racetrack. It's so good to listen to, it really is. But is the next one going to be just as good to listen to? It is Twisted Mansion. I feel like this is the first track in the game that's felt, like, uninspired to me. I feel like they've done this theme a couple of times, so it's not a new theme. It feels like they were just like, hey guys, we need to make, like, a mansion thing. Let's just make a water section. Well, how does that work? And then you fly out into another part of the mansion. It just felt like they needed to tick off all the boxes for all 3 sections. And then you have these like hammers, which I don't believe I've ever been hit by these at all. It just doesn't do anything for me. It does nothing. This is gonna join Thwomp Ruins in D tier. I just don't like it that much. Thwomp Ruins is there because the theme just doesn't interest me in the slightest. Twisted Mansion is there because the stage just feels uninspired. Well, let's give it a listen anyway. Okay, I think it's the violin that tries to carry Twisted Mansion. I just really like this bit here. I like that long-held violin though. It just hits me the right way. That's like the only part of the track that like made me feel something. The rest of it, not so much. They made a music. Good on them for making a music. Expect more from my multi-billion-dollar company, but them's the breaks. Shy Guy Falls. How do we feel about Shy Guy Falls? I'm trying to think how I feel about this stage. I just really like this bit because you speed up quite a bit, and I feel like that's enough for me. But is it enough to carry it? You know what? Just about creeps into B tier. In an online match, if somebody picked this map, how would I feel? The best summation of how I feel would be a solid choice. But how does the music stack up? That guitar sounds really nice. I think a violin guy comes back. Do I have a violin bias? Maybe. But I feel like the violin does enough to move it up to a B tier. Sunshine Airport. Sunshine Airport. Well, Sunshine Airport is one of those stages where, like, the concept is something that's never been done before, and yet I don't find it particularly memorable. I don't know if any of you guys have like ever felt that way about a track. I feel like that's exactly how I could sum up Sunshine Airport. Right now, if I was to play on it, I'd just be like, And then if I heard it was getting remade for Mario Kart 9, I'd also just go, Thwomp Ruins just has a thoroughly uninteresting theme. Twisted Mansion is thoroughly uninspired. This is just thoroughly okay. Is it criminal? Thinking about it, I would argue that in a game of such amazing quality, that just being thoroughly okay is a crime in and of itself enough to warrant being in the D tier. I would argue that. I really would. It seems a bit harsh because the stage hasn't done anything wrong. But since it doesn't do anything that right, I can't... maybe C? Maybe low C? You know what, low C. I think low C is fair. These seems are just a bit too harsh, actually. I've reasoned myself into it. But how do I feel about the music? Melody. I like this part here that's about to come out there. Yeah, again, it's a track that just feels not like amazing, but it's also not offensive, which I think is perfect for C tier. Sunshine Airport is the Mario Kart track of all time. It really is. If I've offended the Sunshine Airport fan base, I genuinely want to know what makes this track amazing to you, because I can't pinpoint it. But I can pinpoint what makes the next track so great. Dolphin Shoals. You already know what I'm going to say. It's what everyone who's ever done a tier list ever has said about this stage. For a mostly underwater stage, I feel like they did a very good job of making this stage interesting. The problem I personally have with underwater stages is that I feel like underwater is just kind of used as a to, hey, we're just driving underwater now. Isn't that new and fresh? As opposed to actually bringing any genuine ideas. Like, you could make the same argument for gliding, but I feel like gliding just feels more fun, engaging, because you're in the air flying more than just driving underwater. Like, the music gets a bit muffled, I guess. Big whoop. But I feel like they did a very good job with this of, like, selling the underwater portion of modern Mario Kart stage design in this track. So it's Dolphin Shoals. What are dolphins kind of known for, I guess? Jumping through hoops, which they give you the chance to cosplay your favorite dolphin. You have to use the air currents from the pipes to kind of drift it along. There's enough, like, air currents to, like, not make it so punishing for a... I think this is a Star Cup track, but it also doesn't, you know, let you off the hook by offering you a safer path below or something. And I think the eel also offers a nice little interesting thing. If you can constantly, like, jump across the top part of the eel, you can constantly keep tricking to gain speed boosts, which I really like. And you make this nice little U-drift, which is always fun to make U-drifts. And then you glide right back to the beginning. When in 200cc, you can jump all the way over there. That's pretty base. I think this does a really good job of selling the underwater portion of Mario Kart design to you. I think I'm going to put it in B. But you already know what I'm going to say about the soundtrack. You already know it, guys. I want to paint the picture in your head. So, like, imagine the first time you're playing the stage, and then the moment you go up, this part of the section is... it's so good. That part in particular just sounds... It's so goddamn good. Does it belong anywhere else? Anywhere else? Can the next stage live up to Dolphin Shoals' high expectations? Oh shit, it's Electrodrome. Oh, Electrodrome. I think this is my favorite aesthetic that Mario Kart has ever done. Like, just being in a club and just, like, having everything is just moving. You got the disco ball spinning, you got the speakers constantly popping, you know, the bars on the sides there, the Koopas and Shy Guys at the back partying up, having a good time. I just really like, I love this aesthetic. I love this stage. I would love to go to a real-life Electrodrome like this. It's the way the stage interacts with the music that I also love. It's not just, the music's not just there in the background. Like, you affect it with your gameplay too. So it's, like, almost impossible not to appreciate. Plays a note for every segment you go down. Bam, 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 bam. You know, it feels great. This track just hits all the right spots for me. And I'm going to put it in a solid A tier. I don't think it does anything track design-wise to really differentiate and put it into that S tier. But it is a lot of fun to race. With the anti-grav, the pillars, and just everything it has going for it, it's a fun track to race on. But of course, we all know why we're here, right, guys? We all know why we're here. Alright, I think my head hurts from the excessive head bopping, which means it's time to move on. Electrodrome was definitely a hard act to try and beat, but I certainly think Mount Wario is up to the challenge. God, do you remember the first time you played this track? You get airdropped by a helicopter. That's how legit Mount Wario is. It doesn't mess around. God damn! This is usually the part where I say, oh, it's an ice track. It belongs in F tier, like I do with every ice track. But it is something out of a video game masterclass playbook. Since you're right on top of the mountain, the first bit is just not really too different from your standard ice track. Once you get into the second section, you're going to get into some deeper waters. I like the choice you kind of have to make here. You can drop down and let the water carry you, which I think is a bit faster, but then you have to contend with the rocks that are in your way, whereas you can glide and potentially grab speed boosts as well. I quite like that choice that you have to make there. And then you get into the next part, which are the dreaded tree line. Oh, man. Oh, no. I've dropped many a time from first place because of the dreaded trees. Once you get to the final, I think the final bit really sums up exactly what I like about it. So you have a standard ice park, you're around top of the mountain, then you get inside that mountain and get into a waterfall, into a dam, and then you get to the tree section, which I think is probably the harshest section there. But once you've done with all of the harshness that Mount Wario has to provide, you get to the final section, which is probably the easiest, and intentionally so. Because the way the track's designed, it's supposed to be like, okay, you've done the hard part, now you've noticed that there's like crowds forming. So like throughout the entire mountain, there were no people in the audience. But now you can see, you know, there's Toads, there's Shy Guys, there's way more ramps, like placed ramps to make tricks off of. So like, it feels like the game is saying, this is the grand finale. Here come the people are watching, the cameras are on, the lights are there. Do some tricks for the audience and really stick that landing and grab that first place. And I think nothing encapsulates it further than this final bit where you just speed across. And then you got some hoops to jump through as well, literally for the audience. The crowds are there. They're cheering you as you enter. One final shortcut there to maybe snub first place. And you wave to all your adoring fans. I think masterclass in Nintendo game design, absolutely unrivaled, at least so far anyway. I was just talking about the racetrack there, the music, oh my god. But in the opening section for the music, there's not really too many instruments. You can hear a violin, you can hear some drums. It represents exactly the portion of the racetrack you're on. You're really high up in the mountain. It's really frigid, and I feel like the few instruments just represent just how high up you are. And then it picks up towards the end as the game knows you're getting towards the dam, you know? And then the second section. Okay, alright. You figured out the beginning. Now you're getting into the realness, you know? It starts to pick up, the music starts to pick up a little. So right as you get out of this part here, that's when this part of the music kicks in, and the violin goes crazy. Violin. The use of the violin here is very much intentional. Whenever a video game is trying to invoke like a stressed emotion in you, that's generally when they use violins. And there's nothing quite stressful than trying to slalom in between these goddamn trees, trust me. And then of course, the final section, it represents exactly what I was talking about before. The crowd is watching, you're reaching the end, you've got that adrenaline burst from just about reaching the end. There's probably one racer right in front of you trying to clinch first place, but you don't want them stealing your limelight. You're trying to go for the end, go for the gold, go for the win, and put on a show for everyone watching. There was no doubt in my mind or yours exactly where I was going to put Mountain of Wario. And in fact, it's a place, not a command. We've had a couple of absolute bangers. Can the next one compare? And the next one itself is Cloudtop Cruise. I really, really like Cloudtop Cruise. I want to talk about the music first of Cloudtop Cruise. Let's just switch it up a bit. The intro is probably like my favorite. Like the guy on the drum. I feel like it's a timpani. It's like one of those big drums, you know. It really has that triumphant feel of driving into battle, doesn't it? It feels less of a Cloudtop Cruise, to be honest, and more of a Cloudtop Assault. I feel like I'm storming Bowser's Cloudtop base, you know? My toxic trait is thinking I could play the song on the guitar. And there's just something so nice about, like, just, you know, hearing that electric guitar just blaring at you, the stress of weaving in between thunderclouds while trying to maintain your speed, and then the music just opening right back up again, you know? This track is just very fun to play. The thundercloud section carries when it comes to the racetrack portion, and the normal version carries when it comes to the music. But I feel like they both blend together to make what is a very, very consistently solid experience. And I think when it comes to the racetrack, I'm going to put it in low A. And I think when it comes to the music, I think it sits about there. I've got Bone Dry Dunes. It's a desert level. But this time it's not yellow and orange. It's orange and red. Even though it's a desert track, I feel like they did whatever they could to make this look as aesthetically interesting as they could. If this desert track was in another Mario Kart game, it would probably be a candidate for one of the best tracks in the game. It really is a solid track, but in a game with such high quality, it doesn't shine as much as it should, you know? One thing I don't like about desert, by the way, not only is it aesthetically boring, but it's the fact that your handling is also severely affected by the sand. So I do have to give props to this track for not being entirely on sand. I think only a small portion towards the end, actually. It also increases the difficulty by having only part of the track on with worse handling, because then if you get complacent and get used to the good handling, then when you switch over to the desert handling, it can kind of mess up your drift, so you kind of have to constantly be on your toes. I feel like that's a much better way of designing desert track. With all that being said, though, it still doesn't evoke too much in me. I'm gonna put it about here. It doesn't spark hatred, but also doesn't spark joy, and I feel like that's what the C tier is perfectly designed to do. But the music, let's talk about the music. Guys, can you tell this is desert music? No way! It sounds solid, it really does. Is it the tambourine again when it comes in on this part here? There it is. I feel like it's a solid track. Definitely gets stronger when it's the tambourine guy comes in. Do you know what? I'm gonna put it in B. I'm gonna put it in B. I think it deserves B, actually. Listening to it on its own is actually a pretty good listen. Bowser's Castle. Did they do a good job with this Bowser Castle this time around? They tend to be quite hit or miss, don't they? I do have to give Bowser very props. So being like the king of the Koopas, the darkness that shrouds the kingdoms all across them. When he invites everyone around to his house to go-kart, he offers a very convenient statue of him pointing to make sure you get the right direction. Thank you, Bowser. The hazards rely on you being dynamic with your movement. That's essentially what I'm trying to say. So while they're not hard to avoid, if you're being very one-note about your driving, they can be very punishing to you. Right as when you come around this corner here, you have to immediately look up and notice, okay, where's the fire bar and how do I avoid this? So if it's right in the middle like this, all you have to do is swerve a little bit right, and then the mace is swinging to the right, so all you have to do is quickly to go left. You don't get a lot of time to avoid the hazards, but if you're not quick enough, they can be very punishing. I really like that take on difficulty. It's not so much the hazards that are difficult, but more you have to be quick to react to them. But I like that kind of take on level design. I want to put it in... I'll put it in... I think here is... No, you know what? Yeah, I think that's fine. Slightly better than Cloudtop Cruise, I'd say. As for the music, though, oh lord. Oh lord. They got the whole band out for this one. They really did. Yo, guitar man, lay a tune. Yo, Johnny on the trumpet. Just an absolute banger, isn't it? And then my favorite part comes up here. Oh my god! I really feel like they just told the electric guitar title to like pop off. What a tune! You know what? I'm putting it here. I'm putting it slightly above Electrodrome. He kind of just does his own thing until the track loops. I think that little element just edges it above Electrodrome. I feel like this game started off quite slow, but we've had banger after banger after banger. Can the next one also match the tempo?
Oh my god, bro.
Maybe you could make the argument that I was a bit harsh when I was talking about the GameCube Rainbow Road in my other tier list video, which you totally watch after this one. This Rainbow Road really, I just don't like it, guys. I just really don't like it. You have like some big boots to fill. You've got N64 Rainbow Road. You've got Wii Rainbow Road. You've got Mario Kart 7 Rainbow Road. You've got such greats as your ancestors. And you bring this to the party? You bring shame upon your ancestors. It doesn't do anything for me, I'm afraid. It's not offensive to the ears, so it's definitely not F tier, but they made a music. We've got Moo Meadows. A Wii track making its grand return, this time during the sunset. I like the orange glow the track has. Really makes it pop out a bit, you know? When I went through the Mario Kart Wii ones, which I'm pretty sure you've already seen, but if you haven't, then I gave this track a B, and since this hasn't really changed much at all. I think they added like a glider section, didn't they? I don't really think that adds so much to the track that affects my placement, so I'm just gonna go ahead and put it in B again. I think I'll slot it around. I think that's fine. Just B. B tier is fine. But let's talk about the music, as it has its own original remix. One thing I really liked about the original was the guitar. Where they missed that guitar, the violin really stepped up, especially in the second part. If you put the Moo Moo Meadows first bit, the Wii version, and then the second bit of the 8 Deluxe version, I feel like it'd be the perfect track, because the second bit just sounds phenomenal. He's like, guys, I got this. the end. But once it picks up in the second half, it really does make up for the lack of that guitar I oh so dearly love. I think in the original, if I remember correctly, I put it in C tier. I put it in high C tier. But goddamn, that violin does such a good job, honestly, that it just edges. It just edges into B tier. It really, really does. If someone could do like a mashup of both versions, I'd love to hear it. Who goes next? It is Mario Circuit Game Boy Advance. I feel like that Mario himself kind of like directs what track is going to be the next Mario Kart game. When Mario Circuit got the contract, they were like, hey, you got to have, like by law, you have to have like one anti-grav, one glider, or one underwater section. By law, or you're not allowed in Mario Kart. And they were just like, oh shit, what do we do, guys? What do we do? Quick, put it on springs, race it up. It'll be different, I swear. Does it really affect the stage design that much? Not particularly, but it's nice that it's there. I like this glider bit off to the side. I really like that it's there. You're gonna mushroom off over there and then just glide across the track. Really nice addition, if you ask me. GBA bias aside, I don't think it goes anywhere higher than C tier, right? Maybe my bias puts it ahead of the other Mario Circuit, but yeah, I think it just belongs in C, really. But the music, I really have to give it absolute props for the music. So let's bring up the original just to make another comparison again. They really did a good job of just like taking this track and just like adding so much to it, just glowing it up so hard. So even from the intro, you can hear it. So for the intro of the GBA one sounds like this. And then in this version, it's immediately you notice they've gone with something different here, and even the main melody is different as well. So in this version, as you heard, it was, and in this version instead it goes. They added a whole extra note, like made it sound a lot more bouncy and livelier. I love what they did here. Bum bum ba-da. And then the ending is what a lovely way to loop it. Out of nowhere, Guitar Man comes in. An absolute joy to listen to. I'm putting it in S tier. The glow up is just phenomenal. Who goes next? It is Cheep Beach. It's extra disappointing in this game as well because I still feel like the DS version was also just kind of like eh. And then, you know, you give it a new lease of life on 8 Deluxe, which you've done so well for so many tracks. But then this version is just kind of like, yeah, let's just make most of the water non-hazardous, of course. And then that's really it. It's another one of those tracks that, again, it evokes no emotion in me. And in any other Mario Kart game, I would just put that in C because it's not offensive but not inoffensive. But in a game with such high quality tracks, I feel like if you have the crime of being boring, I feel like you should be punished for it. And I'm gonna put Cheep Beach down here. I really am. I'm just gonna put it down here. And the music again, let's listen to it, shall we? Let me give it a chance. I like the dun. I don't know what instrument does that, but like I do like that sound. And then it comes back in again with dun. That one sound is the only thing that evokes even a slight emotion in me. They made a music. No way! What is next? We have got Toad's Turnpike. In my Mario Kart Wii tier list, I said that Moonview Highway was a worse version of Toad's Turnpike, and oh lord, did it draw the ire of many. I really like Toad's Turnpike. I think it does what Moonview Highway was trying to do, but just like perfects the concept. Since the cars are mainly going the opposite direction, the same direction as you, it makes it so that they're not as active and crazy at hazard as they are in Moonview Highway, which kind of enables the stage to put a lot of them in there without them being too overwhelming. Like if you just look at it here, hang on, just take a look at this. There's like car, and then up ahead, car, and then another head car. There's loads of cars here, but you still feel like you can make it through because they're all going the same way. They're all relatively slow. If you bump into them, it's all your fault, really. I imagine that anti-grav section wasn't in the original. It offers a slower path, but an easy out if you want to avoid the traffic altogether. It's slower, so you're not being rewarded for it. But if you just can't handle the cars, then go off to the side. I really like Toad Turnpike. I think it does a good job of being a solid choice. Solid choice. I want to put it top of the tier. A solid choice. The music itself doesn't really do too much for me, you know? It's just a bit too simple. Is it simple by design? Is it supposed to represent the monotony of driving through traffic? Maybe. But not enough to save it from my tier list personally. I think low C tier. I feel like it'd be a bit harsh if I put it amongst the dredge down here. Yeah, it's just no strong feelings. What comes next? Dry dessert. I think the first thing that's striking if you've played the GameCube version is like the muted color scheme they went for this one. I really think it makes the stage pop out. I like it. That still doesn't save it from the fact that, say it with me guys, it's a desert track. And also the fact that there's like elements of the track that are missing for like no good reason, such as the tornado that wisps you up. It might seem a bit nitpicky, which it is. I'm willing to admit it. Down the pit here, if you get like swallowed by the pit, in the GameCube version, like there's a monster that kind of chomps you. It has a nice cool transition to go with it, which is entirely missing in this version. I don't know why they just didn't. To the stage's credit, I think the Oasis section is a lot more interesting than the mountainous hilly section that they just had in the other version. It still doesn't save it from the bowels of D tier. How does the sound though? Let's figure that out. How does the sound sound? I'm a poet and I didn't even know it. I feel like my problem with the original track in general is the fact that it feels like it doesn't have a lot of presence about it. It sounds okay, I suppose, but in this version, they were just like, nah, we want you to know that you're in a desert. The instruments are like more louder, they're more powerful. I mean, I'm singing along to the track, but I still don't think it's that good. I'll put it here. It's the nostalgia's probably carrying it to see, if I'm being honest, but it doesn't belong any higher than that. Next, we've got Donut Plains 3, which, oh god. Quite a bit to say about the music on this, but let's talk about the stage first. I feel like the biggest crime that this stage has, along with, like, every Super Nintendo track that they've ever remade ever, it's the crime of it being really just bland. To the point where even Mario Kart 8's excellent art direction and stage design can't save it from the fact that it's still just a bland track. A good chunk of the second half is wet as well, messing up your handling. Just makes me hate it even more, to be honest. Yeah, I'm just gonna put that there. I'm okay, thank you. I'm alright. As for the music, though, I have a very special relationship with the music. Now, one thing I really liked about the Donut Plains music was the very unique whistle sound effect that you would hear. So in the original Super Mario Kart version, you can hear it. It's really giving really angry football referee or really enthusiastic police traffic warden. Do you know what I mean? That's the kind of image I get when I hear Donut Plains. Now, if we will go to the GBA version, you can still hear the whistling. If you go to the DS version, I'm sure you know where I'm going with this, right? If we play the standard version of Donut Plains 3 in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, where's my enthusiastic traffic warden gone? Where did he go? Has he been fired? The whistling is gone and what remains is just okay. But you might be wondering, but Musty, they do have the whistling. And you're right, they do. But it's only available if you're front running. So you might call me complaining about this a skill issue, but it's not, I promise. I promise it's not. Listen, I'm well past the point where I take pride in how good I am at video games. I'm acknowledging that I'm mediocre, alright? But the front running one is not the same. You've noticed it, right? Of course you have. Listen to the whistling in the original. Now listen to this one again. It's not the same. It's not the same melody. It's not the same rhythmic melody of whistling. They just throw in some guy whistling. It's not my traffic warden. It's the intern trying to do his job. It's just It's not the same. It's not the same. It's not the same. I hate it. I really hate it. I really hate it. Is it a very weird nitpick? I'm willing to admit that, but I'm dying on this hill. If you're gonna remake any Donut Plains rendition in Mario Kart 9, you better bring my old traffic warden back, or I will write an angry worded letter to the council. Let's go to the next track, shall we? Royal Raceway. I like the aesthetic that this track has going on. Like, again, art direction. Very, very good, honestly. Everything that can be pink is pink. You got the cherry blossoms. You got the track, like the drifting, inward drifting path is also pink. The arrows are pink. Everything that can be pink is pink. The piranha plant should be pink as well, to be honest. But I think it's a really solid choice. I'm never complaining if you pick Royal Raceway. Even though I can't define anything particular that I like about it. I'm gonna put it here. I think it edges out into B tier. It just does its job. It does its job very, very well. And sometimes you just gotta praise that. But for the music though, let's talk about the music. The bass, the trumpet. Again, can I point out anything in particular that I like about this track, melody-wise? Not really. It just sounds good. It's just a good listen. You know, it's a foot tapper by any other name. I like it. It's good. Solid. Do you know what isn't solid though? DK Jungle. I remember this quite vividly when Mario Kart 7 came out. I remember when I was like seeing other people's opinions on what they thought about the track. I remember this track being rated like really highly. Everyone thought really highly of this track. I also want to preface that I love Donkey Kong. Okay, I've played the Donkey Kong Country games, Returns. I've yet to play Tropical Freeze, but it's on my list. So I'm a Kong enjoyer, right? I've expanded many a dong in my day. But I just don't know what it is about this track that I just it's not giving joy. But it's not giving anger, you know? Which in a normal Mario Kart game would probably just earn an inoffensive C tier. But as I've mentioned before, in a game of greats, you stand out when you're mediocre, you really do. And I'll speedrun the music part while I'm at it as well. The music's okay, but I don't really have much to say about this track. If you like it, my sincerest apologies. My opinion, this is so wishy-washy, I feel like I have to apologize. I just don't like it that much. I just don't like racing on it. It feels like Wario saw his friend Waluigi make a stadium and everyone loved it and he was like, wow, I can do one better than that. Your stadium sucks. I actually kind of like the anti-grav here because like you have the fire bars that kind of stop you from like drifting as inwards as you possibly can. So you kind of have to go outwards a bit if the fire bars are in view. But then I feel like this underwater bit, I think this is what I was describing it. I feel like they just added this underwater bit just so they could have an underwater bit. Like, what does this add exactly? He just flooded his own stadium just to make it somewhat interesting. It's okay. I'm going to put it about here. It's sandwiched in between the Marios. It just reminds me of Waluigi Pinball, honestly. And reminds me just how much I'd rather be playing that. But speaking about the music, well, you know what it is. I like that the like synth is like constantly waving. Like it doesn't like hold a note. It just kind of instead of going doo, it goes doo, like kind of like wavers if you notice it. Like in that note in particular as well. I got it on loop. I like it. Big fan. Am I a big fan of the next track though? Sherbet Land. I like that it's nighttime now, and the underwater section's pretty nice. But once again, gamers, I am reaching. I feel like nighttime is where this map truly shines. And while it is just still an ice track, you know, I don't like them too much. But you can just tell, like, the lighting isn't very dynamic in this version. And then now look at this. Like, look at that, you know? The Aurora Borealis up there escaped from Principal Skinner's kitchen to grace us with its presence in Mario Kart. With the extra underwater portions as well, which I feel like offer a nice alternative path in this one. It saves it from the bowels of D tier. I'm gonna put it up to C. I'm gonna put it up to C, which is S tier as far as ice tracks are concerned. About there. I think about there is right. C tier, I think it bumps up from D in Mario Kart Double Dash to a C here. Good job on you, Sherbet Land. You have made progress. The melody. But yeah, I think the whistling, just like in the original version of the track, carries it here as well. It's especially this ending bit as well. This ending bit is what I really like about the music. When the whistling comes in. It's pleasant enough. It's pleasant enough. It'll edge its way into C as well. It'll edge its way into C. Should we give this next track a raise? I think we should. Ho, 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 ho. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Melody Motorway, or Music Park for everyone else. If there's one thing I'm a sucker for, if any game devs are watching or taking notes, there's one type of stage I'm an absolute sucker for. It's music-themed stages. I absolutely love them. Mario Kart 7 pulled this one out with style. And it looks even better with the dynamic lighting that Mario Kart 8 has to offer. The interactions with the stage, like, make it exactly what it is, you know? The fact that it plays a xylophone and a glockenspiel when you drive over them and the piano in the earlier part of the track. And I think these notes are probably, like, my favorite hazard as well. For any, if you are able to keep time with the beat, you can perfectly predict when these notes are going to jump and land, which I think is a nice way of rewarding people for keeping in time. I really like Music Park. It's such a bop to play on. I really love it. Well, the stage is quite simple. The way it interacts with the music, just like, it really tickles me the right way. I can genuinely understand if you think it's a bit too basic, but music tracks are my kryptonite. They really are. In order for the track to work as well as it does, the music had to be quite basic. But I feel like they did a good job with it, making it sound really catchy while they were there, you know? I feel like its relative simplicity keeps me from putting it right along with the greats, but it's such a catchy tune that it doesn't deserve any less than a high A tier. What a stage. Do you know what isn't a stage though? Yoshi Valley. Oh, Maldia. I'm not a fan of this. I'm not a fan of this, to be honest. From what I heard, now, I didn't really play much of the N64 version. I had a PlayStation 1 as a kid, back when I could only afford one console at a time. But from what I heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, in the original Yoshi Valley, the stage was kind of randomized. But in this version, once you figure out which path is the right path, it kind of undermines every other part of this whole design. In the original, I imagine the whole idea was supposed to be the paths are randomized, so you kind of have to like dynamically guess which one is the one you want to take in order to be as fast as possible, which as a concept I think is really, really good if you could pull it off. The fact that there's only really one path you ever want to take, which is you go left and then left across the bridge, just kind of nullifies all of this. Since you're across a bridge, maybe the risk of falling off might be enough to dissuade people, but considering I'm an average driver at best and it's never dissuaded me from taking the fastest path, I would have to disagree with that. The rest of the stage is just like, it's okay. Bruh by any other name, honestly, I can't. I just don't like it. If you pick it, I'm just going bruh. And even the music is like, it's alright, I guess. I feel like there's another alternate universe where I really like this track, but in the universe we currently live in, it's alright. Now we get to Tlick-Tlock Clock. What a wonderful stage, right? A rather unique concept as well. It has one aesthetic and it sticks to it perfectly. It really does. The spinning gears, the ticking clocks. It has it does one thing and it does one thing very, very excellently. I really like it. It's a good track. Yeah, I think high B. I like this track. I like this track a lot. But as for the music, though, I love the music so much. So do you see when I was talking about like Dry Desert? One thing I really liked about the modern rendition was just like how much presence it has, like how bold it sounds. The same can be applied to Tlick-Tlock Clock as well. Just listen to that intro. And then you get this one, which is like I feel like that ringing alarm clock really like stand out, you know? Like you gotta be listening now, okay? We're Tlick-Tlock Clock, motherfucker. You better be listening. Attention. It's definitely a solid listen, but then you get to this version, it's just like. It feels like this is like Tlick-Tlock Clock in like high school, you know? And this is like, he's graduated high school, he went to music school, he's got a whole orchestra he's commanding, and he decided to do this track the justice it deserves. And then the ending when it just goes like this. A very nice loop point, a nice track, a nice solid listen. Will the next one be a nice solid listen? Oh my god! Piranha Plant Pipeway. Or slide if you come from anywhere else. What a track. What a track. As much as I like to slander Mario Kart 7, good lord did they have some fantastic tracks. You want to stay within the water to speed yourself up, and the track establishes that right from the get-go. Right from the get-go. Boom, you're in there. You want to stay within the water while also avoiding the piranha plant. You can cut across if you want a little bit of a speed boost, but you really want to stick to the water to maintain your speed. A couple of hard drifts, which I really like those. And then a speed boost into the underwater section. It's just all round a very, very fun track to play on. Piranha Plant Pipeway it's just so fun. It's so fun. Am I going to put it in S tier? I think I am. I'm hesitating for a second, but I absolutely love racing on this track. It definitely doesn't have the same level of intricacies that Mount Wario does. But I feel like Piranha Plant Slide just does one thing and one thing really well. It wants you to go fast, drift on tight corners, avoid piranha plants, and take that nice shortcut at the end, and I think it has to go in S. The trumpets also play the overworld from the original Mario Brothers, you know? And then it hits you with the... And then here it comes, this bit. Underground theme. God, what a banger. What an absolute banger. I'm being quite frugal with my S tier racetracks, but let's see if anyone else can join them as we progress even more. Grumble Volcano, oh god. I'm gonna put an F tier, refuse to elaborate. If you want my reasoning, you can watch that, alright? That's all I'm gonna do. And D tier for the music, and that is it. Refusing to elaborate, time to move on. Let's go to Rainbow Road N64. Oh, Lord have mercy on my soul. Whoever designed this track deserves everything happy that ever happens to them in their lives. They really do. Now, as far as I'm concerned, this is the real final Rainbow Road. The other Rainbow Road was an imposter. And then you go down and you see this giant cityscape, and then the train that goes by and throws coins at you, the fireworks on display. As well and truly feels like a Rainbow Road. I don't think it's as difficult as I would have liked. I feel like Rainbow Road, it really has to hit that right amount of difficulty. If it was just a little bit tougher, it'd be right in that perfect zone for me. Just a little bit, though. Just a little bit. A solid Rainbow Road, honestly. Fantastic. Wonderful. Bellissima. You know, I'm gonna put it in S. I thought about it, I wanna put it in S. I really like racing on this track. You know what? I'm sitting up on my seat. I'm enjoying this for what it is. I love this Rainbow Road. I think the racetrack itself would put it at an A. Yes, the art direction, just like the rainbow path, the fireworks, the train, the cityscape in the background. I mean, I'm more of a gameplay of a graphics kind of guy, but you really have to just admire the absolute detail and the way the track is designed. I think that's enough to push it up to an S tier. But what do we think about the music, though? In the original Mario Kart 8, this was the final track in the game. So this was the grand finale, the final impression they're going to leave you on. And they really knock it out of the park. Especially when this part kicks in. And then they take a quick pause. Right here. Ba, 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 ba. Ba. Mario Kart Stadium made a fantastic first impression. This track has a fantastic final impression that just lasts throughout the ages. If I ever have a top 10 Mario Kart tracks, I think N64 is a genuinely good shout for it. I think I'll place it here. Look how much S tiers I have for the music. Considering your competition you're going up against, I think silver medal is definitely a hard-fought victory. But of course, now we get into the deluxe portion of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe with all the tracks they added as DLC for Mario Kart 8 by a standard and 8 Deluxe, starting with a Yoshi Circuit. Does it deserve to be remade this many times over Mushroom City? In my GameCube tier list, I put it at a B, and I think it just stays there. I don't think this stage does anything differently. I'll put it here, just middle of B tier. The music though, new remix, new opinion. They wanted to like redo the original, but not like directly. They kind of wanted to take the original and just like take all the elements of it, the brass, the whistling, the percussion, and just do it in its own Mario Kart 8 style while still being very true to the original. I feel like they did such a good job of doing that. I want to put it in A. I'm going to put it in A. I really love just the energy that this version has, you know? Excellent track. Excellent track. Is the next stage going to live up to that? Excitebike Arena. Or Baby Park 2, as some people have called it, as it's just a bigger oval. I don't think it evokes the same level of, like, chaos as Baby Park does. When I got my 3DS, it was one of the 3D Classics games they made. So I played a bit of Excitebike. And I feel like this track is a very, very true-to-heart rendition of everything Excitebike is about. If you didn't know, and trust me, I don't blame you if you didn't know. I didn't know for the longest time. But the track is, like, randomly generated. So in this person's playthrough, there's an item here, there's a small bump, and then there's one of these, like, platforms. Like, it's one of these, like, I call them, like, half platforms, where, like, you can stay on the top route and get another boost, or you can go to the bottom, where he slips and goes to the bottom. But if you go to this guy, the guy we've been watching this whole time, there's a little bump, a second little bump, and then there's a bunch of bumps, you know? But it generates a slightly different version every time. It's a very nice homage to, like, the level creation aspect of Excitebike. I really like that. It's such a good touch. It kind of channels the similar-ish energy to Baby Park. A less chaotic variant, I would say. I feel like if you don't like Baby Park, you probably don't like this one either, and vice versa. You already know where I stand. I really like Excitebike Arena. I think it's a joy, a pure joy to rage on. In the same way that the track is a lovely homage, the music is as well, honestly. And I feel like they deliberately chose like not to use like a big orchestra like they've been using for the other tracks for this version to kind of evoke the same vibe. Like this is kind of old school. It's an old school track, so they went quite simple with the music on this one. It doesn't sound like a Mario Kart 8 version of Excitebike. It sounds like a modern day version of Excitebike theme in a Mario Kart game. Do you know what I mean? I think those two things are very, very different. And then towards the end of the track, they implement the victory theme from Excitebike in there. For being such a loving homage to Excitebike, along with just being pleasant on the ears, it's a solid foot tap, if I do say so myself. A high B tier. If anything, a track like this just reminds me of why Nintendo are the developers that they are, honestly. Because when they try, they can really make something worth its while. Speaking about trying, though, Dragon Driftway? Did they try when they made this one? Obviously, again, art direction. Look at that. It looks amazing, doesn't it? Look at this stage. It looks so good. This has the Sunshine Airport problem where it's done nothing wrong. I can't point to a single thing that the track has done wrong, but I also can't point to a single thing that this track does right. And I think it just sits alongside Sunshine Airport, to be honest. It does not spark joy or anger. Even any emotion. It's the track of all time. But what about the music, though? It sounds good, but there's like nothing. It sounds really good. It does, but normally there's like one part of the track I can point to be like, ooh, this is the favorite part. Listen, Dragon Driftway doesn't really evoke that in me. I don't think you can be higher than a C, to be honest. I understand if you got it way higher and you harshly disagree with that, but them's the breaks. But you're gonna wish you had your breaks when you play on Mute City, honestly. God damn! I think this is confirmation that they're not gonna make an F-Zero game, right? Because why would they when they can just take this iconic stages and put them in Mario Kart at 200cc? I've never played an F-Zero game personally, but if it's anything like racing on this course, good lord, they need a remake. They need a remake and they need it now. This stage is a treatment for depression. It really is. You can't be in a bad mood when you're speeding around as fast as this track allows you to. What a stage. What a game. For the love of God. And then the music. Oh my god, the music. That saxophone. And then saxophone guy, really bring it home. You know exactly where this is gonna go. You knew it was gonna go here from the moment I played it. Beautiful stuff. And do you know what's also beautiful? Inside you gamers, there are two wolves. One that loves Baby Park and the other that hates it. I can tell you which wolf I answer to. I don't need to explain further. You love this track or you hate it. It's as simple as that. You either embrace the frenetic chaos with every bone in your soul, or you languish in the pit of despair as you get knocked and Mario Karted into 12th place. It's your choice, gamer. Personally, I don't really think much of the music in the original, but one nice touch they added to this version, which I think really makes this track come alive. With every lap, the track gets faster and faster and faster and faster until it really hits its absolute peak at the 7th lap. So you start with lap 1. And faster. And faster. Even faster! Even faster! They made the chaos of the stage match the chaos of the music. Would ordinarily be a B tier, but the fact that the chaos of the music matches the chaos on the stage, I think bumps it up another tier. I got this on loop, as you can already tell. I'll put it about here. And then we've got, ooh, is it easy being cheesy? Someone once told me that not only was the world gonna roll me, that this is a desert track because it's yellow and orange, just like a desert track. I'm like, it's not a desert track, it's made of cheese. Idiot. An absolute banger track from the GBA, given that Mario Kart 8 Deluxe glow up. those pits in the ground to give you a little bit extra speed boost if you can hit them, and the chain chomp that they managed to somehow import. There is something that I quite enjoy about stages that give you massive opportunities to make a comeback. I could see someone like being like 8th place, taking this glider up here to take that shortcut, and then the second glider off to the other side to take 2 massive shortcuts to like clinch like 2nd place or something. Having just a few of those stages that you can really make massive comebacks to keep the first place person really nervous. Having a few of those in every Mario Kart game is exactly what we need, honestly. I am gonna put it in... I'm gonna put it in an absolute joy to rage on. Yeah. It's a good track to play on. But the music though, oh my god! I don't know what instrument that is that goes right at the beginning here, but like I just love the way that sounds. It's come on, Nintendo, give saxophone guy a raise. And then the little squeaks to replicate, because in the original version of this track, there were like mice that like walked across the stage as a hazard. They didn't bring them out to Cheese Land, but they did still keep the little squeak sound from the soundtrack in the original to this version, which I like. Right there, yeah. I like that. Saxophone guy kind of pops off here, and the whole second part of the track just belongs right to him. Bring it home, big man. An absolute earworm if I ever heard it, honestly. What a track. What a track. What a listen. Wild Woods. It's one of those tracks where I've heard a lot of people rate this one highly. I'm not one of them. It's like, I don't think the racetrack itself gets particularly interesting until this bit here with the speed water. The water section and the lily pad jumping are quite nice, but the rest of the track is just kind of like... Which is extra disappointing considering, you know, this was a DLC track, you know. This was a post-development track in Mario Kart 8. And it's just okay. I mean, it's alright. I got nothing to say. I've got nothing to say. But the music, though. Let's hear it. I do like the choir. I've noticed that immediately. It's quite hard to notice when you're actually playing the track with all the sound effects, but... Oh, I like the drum there. That was nice. Oh, I like, again, the choir is just doing a lot of the work for me personally. The track is nice, don't get me wrong, but the choir just really adds that extra, you know what I mean? Like, especially when it builds up here, you can hear it. I really like that. I've never noticed that when I play the track because of all the sound effects. I've never really heard this with headphones on. This is my first time, and I'm actually pleasantly surprised, honestly. I was expecting to put this in just C tier along with the track, but you know what? This is a foot tapper. It really is a foot tapper. I'd put it here. I'd put it in the middle of B tier, actually. Well, the stage might be mid at best. The music is something else. Now, Animal Crossing. I think committing to the bit of, like, depicting all 4 seasons as accurately as possible. I feel like you have to give props to Animal Crossing here for really trying to evoke its roots, you know? And then and towards the end is like a different hazard for each season, and here there's like the snowmen, but in one of the seasons I believe there's Mr. Rossetti as well. Comes to, you know, give you a telling off for not remembering to save your game. I feel like if the racetrack just had like one unique thing about, like the balloons, I guess, the balloons coming down on it. I guess replacing the coins with bells, but I wanted like something else, something different, you know, just like slightly push it up, you know? I think the top of C. I think the top of C is, will do it nicely. As for the music though, I really like it. Let's hear each of them, shall we? The main melody for the spring version is a flute, I think, by the sounds of it. And then in summer, they change it to a... violin guy comes back again. The track, I noticed the track has a lot more energy in the summer version compared to the spring version, because generally, you know, summer you're out and about. Like it's quite nice. I like that. God, there's a lot of energy, doesn't it? Listen to this. And then in autumn, they have accordion. I think that's an accordion, right? Could be wrong. Then you got the guitar strumming in the background as well. This just sounds very autumny. Do you know what I mean? This sounds like the theme of autumn. Just a nice chill variant. I like it a lot. I love this guitar so much, I really do. And then the winter version, which is probably gonna have jingle bells and all that jazz. Oh, immediately. God, all these renditions are just so good. I love them. If I had to pick a favorite personally, I think Autumn has the best musically, and Winter has the best aesthetically, I would say. But all in all, you know, I think it just about squeezes into A tier. Mainly I feel like the Autumn one was the real difference maker. You know, without the Autumn one, I think it'd be in B, but. The Autumn one just does enough. I really love the way that sounds so much. Very true to Animal Crossing, which is what you can expect from Nintendo, honestly. Back when Nintendo were good. You know what, guys? I've changed my opinion. I've seen all your comments on my Mario Kart Wii tier list, and I've changed my mind. You know what? I love Wario's Goldmine now. It's what I would say if I was a punk-ass little bitch. Oh my god! Do I keep it in F tier, just like I did in Mario Kart Wii, to keep it consistent? Because realistically, if I put it in F tier, in Mario Kart Wii, right? And this version hasn't really done anything except to make those minecarts non-hazardous. That's all they've realistically done. Demolish it. Get rid of it. Get it gone. I'm keeping up the slander. Get it gone. Oh, I know. I saw some of you guys say it reminds you of a roller coaster. That's very nice. That's actually very sweet. That's very nice. Honestly, I'm so glad that this stage can remind you of roller coasters. Do you know what it reminds me of? It reminds me of hell. And I do not belong there, okay? I'm keeping up the slander. What is next, though? We've got Rainbow Road. I've had one Rainbow Road rendition that I really hated, one that I really loved. Where does this one stand? I think this one's very simple, but also very, very enjoyable. And I think the one thing that carries it is those rainbow thwomps. Because, like, this thwomp here, he takes up, like, half the... Like, not even half. Like, he takes up the entire fucking platform except the tiny bits on the side. You can also use the ripples to get a speed boost. I love this gimmick about this Rainbow Road, I really do. The amount of respect that Thwomps desire, combined with the chaos that Mario Kart naturally has, can make for a very chaotic battlefield, and I like that. I embrace the chaos. I'm putting it here. It's a masterclass. It's a masterclass. I'm not gonna lie to you. I absolutely love racing on this track. It's so chaotic, so simple, and yet it does everything so well. Hello, this is Editor Musty talking to you all the way from the future at 1 AM. So at this point in the recording, not only did my internet die, the whole power to my house died.
Who didn't pay the electric bill?
So if you're wondering why I'm wearing a different flannel, I came back and finished this video on a different day when I wasn't so annoyed about losing the rest of my recording. Anyway, what is that melody? I love it when the string comes in, just like so triumphantly at this part. Listen. Bum, 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 bum. Da, 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 da. And then the drum guy does his thing. Sends chills down my spine. Considering my first exposure to SNES Rainbow Road was the rather dour version that they put into the GBA Mario Kart. The less said about that one, the better. They've done such a glow up. It sounds so goddamn good. I love it. Oh, where are you going? Where are you, my beautiful Rainbow Road? You deserve nothing less than the beauty of S tier. I'll leave it there for now. I'm gonna reorder everything at the end. But let's move on to the next track, shall we? Were you guys really excited when Mario Kart 8 was out and they confirmed 2 extra DLC packs? But then immediately it was just like, wow, what an amazing addition for them to include yet another ice track. I love ice tracks. I love them so much. I'm gonna talk about how much I love ice tracks for another 7 hours. Wow, are you guys still here from all those 7 hours? Let's talk about Ice Outpost, shall we? To this stage's credit, at least they did something different, you know? It wasn't just your standard ice track fare of sticking you on some ice and calling it a day, you know? There's like the dual yellow and green paths, which I don't know if they do anything for you. They do absolutely bugger all for me. It's got a couple nice shortcuts, I suppose. Never in my life have I looked at a stage and just gone, what an absolute waste of a slot. Jesus Christ. Just get rid of it. Just get rid of it, man. I'm normally quite apologetic about putting tracks in Destroy, but I have no sympathy. You'll get no sympathy from me. What the music though? Is it as uninspired as the stage is? Let's have a listen, shall we? Violin sounds nice, I suppose. It sounds okay. Boy, did they make a music and a half. No shot. Yeah, it's as music gets. Hyrule Circuit. Very nice of them to include a link into their kart racing game. Do you remember the Nintendo Kart discourse that this fucking character caused? That was definitely the moment of all time on Nintendo Twitter history. Jesus Christ. Let's talk about the track. This track certainly does a good job of being an excellent homage to Legend of Zelda as a series, I would say. A fine remix of, you know, the title theme, Hyrule Field. They had, Zelda's Lullaby in there as well. Replaced the piranha plants with those, Deku things, those monsters. I really do like the whole gimmick with the Master Sword in the center of the stage. The fact that you have to hit these three anti-grav, things in the stage. And you can work as a team with your fellow racers to give yourselves a little bit of an extra shortcut. I think that's something that they should definitely add in future Mario Kart games. That sort of level design. I think it goes into B. It's an excellent homage and a solid track to race on. What is that melody? God, that electric guitar sounds so good, doesn't it? Just sounds so good. The violin. Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum. I think as a piece of music in a Mario Kart game, it's very solid. As an homage to Zelda, I think it does excellently. A foot tapper. I'm not personally the biggest Zelda enjoyer, but hearing that definitely does put a smile on my face. It's more of it puts a smile on my face than it is an excellent track, and I think it deserves the B tier at the very least, right? So double B's all round, but what is next? We have got Neo Bowser City. Neo Bowser City, huh? God, I know a lot of people who hate this track, and I'm not one of them. Just the whole vibe of the stage is just phenomenal. You know, like this cityscape that just belongs to Bowser. Like, I almost feel like if you went to World 8 in, like, a Mario game, right? Instead of just, like, Lava Kingdom like Bowser usually is, I would love to see this sort of thing implemented, because I just love the aesthetic behind this stage so much. It's so good. Aesthetically, this track just nails it for me. And I think the most notable section of this track is the dreaded U-bends, where you have to do I think I got 3 U-drifts in a row. There's 1, and there's 2, and there's 3. With the rain as well. Oh, see... If you didn't have smart steering on, I think he would have fell off. It feels really good to do this section. Understand if you hate it, but the extra bit of anti-grav is quite nice, but ultimately doesn't affect too much of my decision making. The top of A tier. I want to say the top of A tier. I love racing on this track. It's so much fun. But how does the music stack up? And I love this next part's my favorite bit, the callback to Toad Circuit, the Toad Circuit theme from Mario Kart 7. It's a techno version of Toad Circuit, and it pulls it off fantastically as far as I'm concerned. Let's put it. If I was to, I'm almost certain if I was to rate Mario Kart 7, this track would be S tier track, S tier music. But with such other high quality tracks, I don't think it squeezes into S. I'll put it here. I'll put it right in the middle of A tier. It still deserves a top spot as far as I'm concerned. What do we have next? I do believe it is Ribbon Road. God, look at that! Look at that! Look at that view of this map. Just stare at it for a second. Do you know what the GBA background looked like? It's almost like a new course at this point. It really is. Green section is the Mecha Cooper section, and then you got the blue section coming up ahead, which is the anti-grav portion of it, you know? Little shortcut on the right there. Another little shortcut over here. If you're feeling a bit brave. Somebody at the Nintendo dev team really loved Ribbon Road and wanted to give it the true potential it deserved, and it nails it to the nth degree and beyond. I'm putting it amongst the king of kings in S tier. What a beauty of a track. Chef's kiss could not do it justice. The question is, does the music stack up? God, this like surf rock vibe that they gave it out of nowhere. God, it really is just night and day from the original, isn't it? Just listen to it. A guitar guy goes in shreds, come on. The glow up is just utterly phenomenal. Where else do I put it? But again in S tier. The surf rock, the extra backgrounds, they went all out for this one. But did they go all out for the next one? Super Bell Subway. They did such a good job with this one. A Mario Kart 8 original, that is just a wonder to play. The length of the trains absolutely demand your respect in avoiding them as a hazard, but they're also not so overwhelming that they make the track unplayable. It's the perfect balance they strike as far as I'm concerned, and it just nails it. You got the upper path here if you fancy going somewhere. I think it's a bit longer than the regular path. Again, I love that sort of game design where there's an alternative path that's slower, but you also avoid the train in case someone doesn't fancy taking their risk, especially in this situation here where both the trains are right there out. That's quite dicey. You wanna take the upper path to avoid if you can there. Well designed. Am I just giving out S tiers now? I think I'm just. You know what? It deserves it. It deserves it. It deserves it. Like I'm just thinking about it right now, and just thinking about this track just puts a smile on my face. Seeing it in action puts an even bigger smile on my face. Along with seeing someone get blue shelled when they're away in first. I love that. It's my favourite part. What is that melody? They separate into two portions. The above ground portion and the railway portion. And blending both of them together, it makes for an absolute orchestra to the ears. When it comes to the design of the racetrack, I feel like they did a good job of depicting a railway station. You know, like a Mario take on how a underground railway station would work. And the music just really matches that as well. Like, just listen to it for a second. Do you notice that? Do you know that's that little jingle? I feel like that's supposed to represent like you know when if you ever taken an underground station of any kind, they normally play a little jingle before they do an announcement. I feel like that is what that portion of the track is supposed to represent, and they do this throughout as well. That's not the only time they do that sort of thing. And again, the accordion. Now, don't get me wrong, I love the accordion normally, but the accordion, especially using it here, is very much intentional, especially as a solo instrument. The accordion feels like something you would hear someone playing, and I've seen it myself as someone who lives in London. I take the underground frequently. Guitars, accordions, these are quite common to hear in the underground. So hearing it in this is, I want to say it was an intentional use of it in this case. I really love this part because it deliberately sounds like it's coming from this part deliberately sounds quite tinny, you know, as if it's coming from like a really bad speaker. The exact kind of speaker that an announcement would come from if you were at a subway station. Do you see what I mean? It keeps consistent with the theme. And then goes back to the accordion again. Ba-bam, 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 bam, bam. And the railway portion also adds to depicting a Marioized version of a railway station. Because what sound do you associate with underground in Mario? The underground theme, of course, which is exactly what the railway portion plays. That slap bass just goes crazy. Boom it, boom it, boom it. Boom it, boom it, boom it. You hear it throughout the whole track. Boom it, boom it, boom it. I have no qualms with also putting this in S tier. It feels like I'm giving them away, but I will happily give them to such wonderfully designed tracks. Without a shadow of a doubt, and I think I've explained myself adequately for a change. What can follow that up? Oh Lord have mercy on my soul, it's Big Blue. Oh my god, I really am just giving out S tiers, aren't I? You get an S tier, you get an S tier, everyone gets an S tier. Yeah, I normally don't like to spoil my placing before I've placed it, but was there ever any doubt in where I was going to put Big fucking Blue? Jesus Christ. F-Zero and Mario Kart. I don't know whose idea it was to fuse the two, but I hope the man is living or woman, is living a wonderful, wonderful life. I just like how they use different elements to give you speed. Whereas in Mute City, it was all about just speed pads, speed pads, speed pads. In this one, they've decided to go with like different methods to increase your speed. They've gone with the conveyor belts, which you saw in stages like Rainbow Road, and then you've got the water, which you've seen in stages like Cooper Cape in the past before. You have speed pads and conveyor belts put together as well on the same line. And the music, you already know I'm putting it. Saxophone. Whereas the mums of old will just say, how can you be depressed? You're too young to be depressed. Just be happy. I'm going to be the one that says, how can you be depressed? Just listen to Big Blue. For the love of God, do it. I'm going to spend a minute or two reordering this because some of these placements are not quite right. I think those are the exact placements in the exact tiers that I am happy with. Of course, now's the time where I go ahead and validate my correct opinion by looking at some other tier lists, so let's go ahead and do that. The first tier list I want to look at is made by a person named Tomble, who follows me, and who gave me a shout-out saying that their Mario Kart 8 tier list was inspired by my video. Thank you for the shout-out. Very kind of you. Now let's see if this tier list is kind in return. I'm not going to be taking into consideration any of the Wave 1 to 3 tracks. That's going to be a separate video, because Lord knows 48 tracks was enough for this one. So I'll be ignoring their placements. So let's just look at the original 48 in this. Masterpiece, you've got Mount Wario and Cloudtop Cruise. I like it, I like it. Get in the bin, you have Rainbow Road, Toad Circuit and Grumble Volcano. I appreciate the Rainbow Road slander, it's very, very nice. See, I like your S tier and your F tier, but it's your A and D that I am perplexed. I'm perplexed, Tomble, I really am. You've got Thwomp Ruins up there, the top of the tier, Vine Boom. DK Jungle, Vine Boom. Wario's Gold Mine, double Vine Boom. Twisted Mountain, quadruple Vine Boom. You got so many based spots in this list, and you got so many cringe ones. What is this? And then your D tier doesn't help me neither. Super Bell Subway. In the D tier, it's there? That's what we got to say about it's there? Bone Dry Dune slander, Yoshi Valley slander. I'm here for Donut Plains 3 slander. I'm here for that. But you've got Neo Bowser City, Super Bell Subway, Baby Park, Sydney Sprint, all in here. The Lord cannot help me for what this tier list has done to my soul. I've never been so agreeing and disagreeing on a tier list in my life, so well done for invoking such a reaction. I don't think any other tier list is going to do that, to be honest. Here's a Mario Kart 8 Deluxe track tier list. I do not care for this game, so every tier isn't ordered in the slightest. How do you not care about Mario Kart 8 Deluxe? It's in contention for the best Mario Kart, but there's no accounting for taste, I suppose. I wonder what he thinks is the best Mario Kart. S, we've got SNES Rainbow Road, I like that. Mount Wario, I like that. Sunshine Airport, Music Park, Toad Harbour, Cloudtop Cruise. You know what? There's enough S tiers that I agree with that I'll let Sunshine Airport and Dragon Driftway slide on the radar. Oh my god, I just had oh, look at the D tier. The D tier is absolutely shocking. So he puts Bone Dry Dunes and Mario Kart Stadium there. And then he puts Cheese Land, Piranha Plant Slide, Neo Bowser City. My brother in Christ. You don't like Mario Kart 8, but I don't think Mario Kart 8 likes you. If you pick any of the bottom 4, I will throw my red shells backwards at you specifically. Ooh. Saucy. What are the bottom 4? Toad Turnpike, Twisted Mountain, he's a Baby Park hater. Baby Park hater, opinion invalidated. So the Mario Kart 8 tracks tier list ordered. So he's ordered this one, which is not saying a lot of people do. Please know he's put Cheese Land in there. Must be lactose intolerant. Mediocre. N64 Rainbow Road. Mediocre. Someone come pick up they mans. This man needs picking up. Go to the Electrodrome near Bowser City. Ice Outpost. Like, how do you get two of them so right and then one of them so wrong? I don't get it. Ice Outpost. Bro, this guy must really like green and yellow. So he put Ice Outpost over Mute City. I know there's no accounting for taste, but Lord have mercy on my soul. Every single one of these tracks are below Ice Outpost. Shocking. Absolutely shocking. Oh, this one's quite interesting. My tier list based on soundtracks as a musician, ordered within tiers. Surely he must know what he's talking about. So let's check the F tier firstly. Donut Plains and Mario Circuit 3. Based. Music tier list. And you've got SNES Rainbow Road all the way down there. What's his X tier? Rainbow Road, Animal Crossing, Mario Circuit, Hyrule Circuit, Snowland. I don't know, how does Snowland get that high, but Electrodrome gets that low? That's what I want to know. That's all I want to know. Mute City is only at a B. Big Blue is only at a B. Shroom Ridge is only at a B. Baby Park is at a D. Oh, geez, a Baby Park. Oh, he's a Baby Park. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Like, is X tier I can fuck with, right? Snowland shouldn't be up there. The F tier I can fuck with, but there's just so much in the middle. There's so much in the middle that there's so much rearrangement that needs to happen here. I like the guys that are bold with their take. Objective Mario Kart 8 maps tier list. This guy's speaking with facts. No printer. Bone Dry Do's in F immediately. Rainbow Road also in D. Based. Toad Harbour, Sunshine Airport in fucking S. Man must live next to an airport if he loves airports that much. Oh my god. And then if you live near an airport, you should hate airports. They're so fucking loud. You've got to be all high pitched so you can tell I'm angry. Electrodrome, B. Piranha Plant Slide, B. Baby Park neutral? He's a neutral Baby Parker? How can you be an objective tier list and not have a hot take on Baby Park? I think that's all I got to say about Mario Kart 8. Or looking back over the list, there's more tracks that I like than I hate. So, you know what? I consider this Mario Kart game a resounding success. They did a fantastic job with it, and it's no wonder why they're just making more tracks for this instead of Mario Kart 9. But you better get started on 9 eventually. Any agreements, disagreements? I'm sure you have plenty. Let me know in the comments. Be sure to like while you're down there. And I've got a Mario Kart DS one coming up next, so be sure to subscribe for that. Until the next one, there's your love.